So I want to talk about shifting from the third person perspective to the first person perspective. So third person perspective is when you live from other people's imagination. So what it means, for example, when I'm outside in my garden and I'm watering the plants, and somebody comes by, I am creating an image of myself in their head and try to curate that image by behaving in a way that I think will satisfy them. So that's what I would call third person camera, living from the third person camera. What is then first person camera? First person camera is same situation and somebody comes by and I'm staying with my attention on my outward look. So I'm looking outside my eyes, but I'm aware that I'm looking outside my eyes, and I'm aware that I am controlling this body, that I am this body. So this is first person perspective, and I am staying with my attention in the first person, and then I'm not the one who greets first, for example. I'm not desperately trying to establish rapport with them. I'm staying with my attention in my perception, and then they started greeting me first. So when you've conditioned yourself as a trauma response to live from third person perspective all your life because you learned it as a survival strategy, because your well-being depended on it, that you can read the room and see how you will appear to others at all times, then this became deeply ingrained in you, and then it becomes a fun exercise to learn a new way of living, which is from the first person camera. But ultimately, there is a secret, which is you don't say everything that you know, and you don't say everything that's going on unless you're asked. But you can decide how much you want to share, and you have no obligation towards anybody to disclose anything about what's going on and about your intentions. And naturally, you will feel less need to correct yourself mid-sentence. Correcting yourself mid-sentence is another sign that you're living from third-person perspective. Because why would you correct yourself if not you think that you need to create a certain image of yourself in another person's view? But if you know you are God, and so if you know you're God and you created yourself in the image of God, then there's no need to correct yourself, because God makes no mistakes. And this is going to help you relax and the thing is, it's all about joy of expression, ultimately love. Every expression is a form of love, but you can create heaven on earth for yourself and the people around you by living from that principle which I'm trying to convey to you at the moment. When you really start to understand and then embody that principle, which you will learn that it's destined anyway, because you've made the choice as God before your incarnation, then it becomes effortless and you're converging as ordained by God towards God realization, which you will learn along the way that it is your destiny because you as God have chosen it. So that's what I'm trying to convey to you. And me sharing that is also part of it. It is God who wants to come to God realization. He wants to experience themselves in the flesh. God wants to experience himself in the flesh. That's what you've chosen as God. And by embodying that principle, fear dissolves and life becomes joyous. Fear dissolves, doubt dissolves, separation dissolves. Not on the practical level, there's still you and other people, me and you, but on the deeper level that me and you are images. They are real, don't mistake my words, they are real, but they are illusory at the same time. There's no other way you can put it. That's why every mystic spoke often paradoxically and hard for the ego mind to understand, for the logical mind. But we are also learning to have faith, and which means to have faith in your destiny. And then those logical considerations become less relevant. Don't mistake my words again. Logic is extremely valuable. And also God realization is extremely logical. It's just that, because they are operating at multiple levels, at certain levels it appears paradoxical, but on other levels it makes perfect logical sense. So you will understand what I mean in due time. Because, as I said, that's exactly what I have to say. And that's also exactly what I came to the realization of. And I'm sharing this realization with you at the moment. Whatever that means exactly. Because ultimately, in this realization, I'm talking only to myself. But don't mistake my words. In this illusion, other people are real. But ultimately, only God exists. And you might say that's only semantics and that's only language. And it could be, depending on the level of realization you've come to. Those might just be words that make no sense, or it might be words that make logical sense and you can understand them, or the words become real to you because your experience becomes the proof of it. So there are different levels of understanding, and I'm trusting that you will understand it in due time. And ultimately, I'm only talking to myself. There are no other people because there's no separation. There's only joy of expression. And by coming to that realization, you get to enter the kingdom of heaven on earth. You bring the kingdom of heaven to earth by merging with it, by becoming it, by entering it, by embodying it. Through your realization and your choice, you have to make the choice to enter the kingdom of heaven, because God gave you on one level free will, which you can use to create hell or heaven for yourself. So I know what I choose. But when you progress deeper on the realization, then you will realize that you couldn't have chosen any other way. You were always predetermined to enter the kingdom of heaven in this incarnation, in this play. You will come to that realization, and you will also come to the realization that it's all a play you get to enjoy. So ultimately, it's not about doubting what you're saying, because you cannot be right, but you also cannot be wrong. When you come to this realization, you will know that you have to say exactly those lines, and this gives you incredible, how should I call it, power. It's very powerful because you don't have to fear to say something wrong, because you can't. If you are converging with the ultimate realization, which you are because it is your destiny, and there is less need for you to gradually, you will realize that there's less need for you to correct yourself, there's less need for you to conceal yourself, because there are no others. Ultimately, there's only God. So there's less need to conceal yourself. You will share what you're supposed to be sharing. And what you're supposed to be sharing is what you have chosen, and ultimately that's what was prescribed. So, as you can see, it's like a complex entanglement of different forces, but ultimately they all lead you to one single point, which is God realization. You will enter the kingdom of heaven, and all of those forces are set up, intricately working together to lead you to this single point. And once you accept that and don't resist it, then you can immediately enter that kingdom, because also time is an illusion, as they say. Because on one level time is real, on another level it's an illusion, and every physical law you created for yourself because you wanted to experience that way. But those are not set in stone. Those are alterable in exactly the same manner as you alter your appearance. In the same manner as you change your clothes, you can change the laws of physics. If you believe it. Or let's say if you know it to be true for yourself. And at the moment you might not know it to be true for yourself. So that's why you're living on a little bit longer with apparent solidity of physical laws. Because that's also what you're comfortable with. Something that appears to be causal and appears to be explainable in conventional terms. That's what you're currently comfortable with, and that's why you also get to experience it that way, because you are God and you experience it exactly in the way you want. And this is a confirmation right now. So let's appreciate this. Let's soak it in. And also realize it. Come to the embodied realization and play with it. Have fun with it. And in practical terms, it means you are going through the world as though you are the only conscious being. So you're going through the world from first-person perspective instead of third-person perspective. And see how it makes all the difference. See how it reduces fear and lack and separation and the possibility that you can be harmed by other people and the possibility that something bad is going to happen to you and that some circumstance comes that you have no control over. So all of that will disappear, but don't take my word for it. You have to play with it, experiment with it, have fun with it, and see how it will bring the kingdom of heaven right to you.